For joining. So we're gonna wait for a few more minutes until Robert joins. Then we can start the session. Hi, Robert. I think he was on. Yeah. Hi. How are you? I think your mic is on mute. Oh, sorry. Mine issue. Yes. Okay. Can speak again.
How's that?
Yeah. Now it's okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thanks for joining.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. Just did a 90-minute session on data center to cloud migrations, so I'm well warmed up.
Oh, yeah. First of all, thanks for agreeing. Thanks for joining.
Of course. Yeah, appreciate the invite. Always love sharing knowledge.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna wait for 2 more minutes and we can start. So people are joining. I think we can start. People will join one by one. Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give a small intro. Oh, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. First of all, so let me give a small intro about myself and Robert. Myself, Krishna. I was working as a Jira administrator and Atlassian Community Champion. I was an Atlassian Community Leader for the Amaravati chapter. So that's the main and of who are having bragging to it. And coming to Robert, I think many of you know that Robert. There is so many designation to tell one about. He was a founder of FinTech. He was a solution architect and many things. Problem solver. So let's hear from the Robert about himself. Robert,
Thank you.
over to you.
Thank you for the intro. Yeah, about a year ago, I actually quit my full-time job, and now I just do training and instruction. So I have a company called Tech. I work for myself. It's great, but been using Atlassian for about 13 years, and I had zero training. Many people have heard this story, but for Confluence, my training was someone showing me how to log in. And I got to learn by doing, and that's now why I instruct and train to help people avoid that frustration. It's a good way to learn, but many people don't have the time or energy. So since I've started using it, I've become a subject matter expert. So I help write certification exams. I've earned almost every certification they offer, and I write a lot of training courses on Atlassian topics. So I appreciate the chance to share a little bit about what I know here. I certainly don't know everything about Rovo, but I bet there's some things I can share that'll help y'all out. All right. So we're going to spend the next 25 or so minutes talking about Rovo in Confluence. I'll have some slides just to talk about ideas, but then we're going to jump into a demo instance and just see it see it being used. Um, I've already introduced myself. I can skip that slide. Please use the chat to ask questions. If you want me to explore something more, if you want to share something, how you use Rovo, anything like that. And again, we've got about 30 minutes to go. So don't wait until the end to ask questions. Just put them in the chat. I'll be able to answer them as I'm going, just to make sure you get the most out of this session, because it's really about everyone listening. What can we get you to learn? As a quick reminder, Rovo is Atlassian's AI tool. We're seeing it show up more and more, especially with the ability to generate or create content. Like, it started out as more of an assistant, like help review this or change the tone, but we're seeing it now, fully inserted as a content type even. There's a button called Create with Rovo that can create a whiteboard from scratch and populate it, or take a picture of something and turn it into a database in Confluence. So Rovo can do a lot more than just search. It can do a lot more than just rewrite text. It can actually take our ideas, our inputs, and generate something new from that. Now, I've seen some examples where someone uploaded a PDF, prompted it and gave it a few links, and then was generating entire reports and then converting those into Jira work items. So we can think of Rovo as something that enables us to take action. I think about using Rovo anytime something is text heavy. So if there's a lot of text involved and it's a repetitive thing, analyze this report, help me build this one thing over and over, Rovo can be a very good use case. And today we're mostly going to focus on this create aspect. How do we generate this content, and how do we generate useful or good content? It all starts with our prompt. So please just remember, the most powerful part, or the most important part, is what you ask it to do and how. So one of the best things I've learned is a framework called TCREI, and I'll put this in our chat. We've got our task, our context, our reference, our evaluate, iterate. So when I ask Rovo for something, I give it a task, and we're going to do this live in a minute, but that task might be, take this Confluence page that details out our new hire onboarding process and turn it into a whiteboard. That's a task I could ask it to do. Context. Why do I want you to do this? We need to do this to help our onboarding team understand the process flow so they make less mistakes. And then references. And then here are the links you need. Here are other diagrams or information. This gives Rovo a good starting point. If we don't give it these things, we'll get an output, but it might not be exactly what you want. So that's the description. We'll then see Rovo actually go and build this thing, which to me is just the fun part. You'll see it start to type or start to add images or start to build that database. And then from there, it's going to say, hey, is this what you wanted? So an important thing about Rovo is it will not publish that content or make that change until we tell it, yes, that's what I wanted. So keep that in mind as well. It's kind of like writing a draft in Confluence. Until you hit publish, no one else will see it. This gives you a good opportunity, though, to change what it gave you. So we've got our task, our context, our reference. What do we tell Rovo? And then we have to evaluate. We look at its output and we say, that's not what I wanted. So we iterate, we change it, we adjust it, we adapt it. Again, we as the human are always in charge. We're always accountable and responsible for that. So make sure you're taking time to pause and read it. Now, these are just some examples of what you could generate with Rovo. There's really, I haven't seen an upper limit. You may find that Rovo seems better at generating certain things than others, and this can depend on a couple of reasons. One, Rovo sees all the information in connected systems. So if you're generating content with Rovo and it seems kind of it could be because the underlying data or the underlying information you have in Confluence isn't the best. Maybe it's out of date. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's very, very old and it should be changed. So as you use Rovo, you may start to discover other things need updating or changing. So that's just something to expect that could happen. However, I've used Rovo to do things like summarize meetings. I have my meeting notes. I feed that into Rovo and say, give me 3 bullet points about what happened here. You can also use Rovo to take a look at recordings. If you use Loom, a separate product, it can summarize meeting notes. But Rovo can take the text from that and help you figure out next steps or decisions. I also use Rovo quite a bit to convert a text-based document into a process flow or to a system chart. In my career before I was an instructor, I was a project manager. I would make a lot of systems diagrams by hand. Rovo can help me speed that up. Take this Confluence page, make it into my document. The same is true with policies and procedure. I want to make a new policy. Instead of typing out the whole thing, I can give Rovo the bullet points over the new kudos policy, and it can then format it and structure it in a way that is similar to my other policies. So we're going to pop into a demonstration instance and just start making stuff with Rovo. In the chat, let me know if there's a specific type of document you want me to make. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going with the human resources, the HR example. So I'm going to open up my spaces, and I've got human resources. And in this example, we've got a bunch of different benefits. And so here I'm going to be a benefits analyst. I'm an expert in how this works. And we've got this kudos policy. Or maybe we've got some perks. Now we'll go with the kudos policy. Let's pretend we have a new site, and this site needs a different policy. I can go into Rovo, and I'm going to grab this link first. So just copy the link. Then I'll click on Create and Create with Rovo. And I'm going to ask it to make a new kudos policy for my EMEA team. So you are I'll zoom in a little, a policy making expert for HR teams. This is my task. Like, who are you and what are you doing? Who needs to make a kudos policy for EMEA? That's my task. The context: this is a new team. We want to support them and attract talent. My context, and then references. Base it off this doc. And maybe I'll give it more reference. So I'm feeding Rovo information. Without this, it will guess at what I want. But really, I need a starting point. Rovo can't do my entire job. I have to meet it somewhere in the middle. So I'll give it some ideas or some specifics about Europe. EMEA specifically requires additional days off, the ability to vote for an employee of the month. I'm making up examples. It's been a while since I've built anything like this, but here, just the example of I'm feeding it a good starting spot. Maybe Europe does get extra time off. I don't know. I'll zoom out. And now we're going to see Rovo. I always hesitate to say thinking. It's basically just going through our teamwork graph, the underlying source of information, and finding information relating to this request. And then we're going to see Rovo it looks like it's typing, start to generate this document. Now, everything it's doing is based on my prompt, what I have asked it to do, and all that connected data. There is also some controls and guardrails that exist in here that we don't see. And this is why if you prompt Rovo, just say, make me a policy, it will give you something. Probably not what you want, but it will still do something. And okay, it's still going. Matthew's asking, does this consume Rovo credits or tokens? Every time we interact with Rovo, it costs some amount of credits or tokens. As of now, Atlassian does have limits on every tier, how many tokens you get, but they are not going to cap our use, and they are not going to charge more for going over those limits. They will tell us, they will give us 90 days notice when that changes. So as of right now, this does consume a token, but that doesn't increase our Atlassian bill. However, I personally think that will change at some point in the future, just because it does cost money to run an AI tool. So here we have our document, we have our policy. We can see it did things I didn't ask it to do, which is pretty nifty. It added this purpose at the top. It has an overview section. So just an example of Rovo taking the prompt and kind of extending it. It assumed I wanted a specific structure. Now, it also probably took this policy that I gave it, base it off this policy, and added similar sections. So that's where the reference is really powerful. If something is standardized to some degree, whether that is a diagram describing an API or a page with headers, you can feed that in as a starting point, and Rovo will use that when it's building. It also added like important callouts. So this is a great start. This is something I could have written out. It would have taken me time, even prohibited use. So it took it a step further and said, hey, what do you want people not to do? Which is pretty neat. And then an implementation approach. From here, I can then just keep chatting with Rovo. So I might ask it to do additional things. Let's see if we can add a table of contents to the top. So I can give it specific prompts. Hey, expand this section, do this thing. Or I could say rewrite entire aspects in this chat window, and it'll just go back and forth. Um, as that's thinking, Martina, I love Rovo, having problem with agents that generate pages. Oh no. Whenever I want to set the permission for a page that's been created or add a label. Um, without more specifics, and I'd be happy to connect with you directly if you're open to that, Martina. In the automation flow, you can add an action to restrict. So that could be, some trigger every Monday morning. Rovo does something, make a page. Next step, add a restriction. Next step, add a label. So you might have success adding additional actions, but without more specifics, that'll be hard to uncover. Okay, it added a table of contents, and this is a good example of maybe a limitation. So it added my TOC, table of contents, and for some reason, this table of contents isn't showing anything. This might be an interesting bug related to what's happening here. What we're looking at is called a preview. So when we generate content this way with Rovo, it's held in a special state. This is only visible to me and all of you because you're watching my screen. If I close this, it doesn't get deleted. It's saved under my menu. So if I go into Ask Rovo, this drop down, it'll show up as a chat. But that document isn't published. No one else can see it. And I'm going to refresh because it should be showing up in chat unless the nice people at Atlassian have changed something. There we go. So I scrolled up a little. I can recover that preview, but once this chat record is deleted, this preview is gone. There we go. From here, I could keep editing this. If this is a good enough starting though, I can just click add to Confluence. I'll have to tell it where to insert this content. And then I can optionally restrict it just to me. This is a good option because if I don't do this, it's just accessible. Anyone who sees the space will see it. So typically I'll set to private, which will restrict it only to me, and then go share it with other individuals. Maybe I have Max is my policy expert. I'll say something like, hey, Max, please review and approve to publish. So this is me using Rovo to generate content, but then adding it to my workflow of content is generated, content then has to be reviewed, and then it can be shared. So anywhere I'm using Rovo, I'm also considering how does this fit into my workflow, my process, how the team works, because it's just another tool. In the same way, I might have an analyst step in and help out. Minu, I hope I'm saying your name properly. Can Rovo create a technical design document referring to code in GitHub? I want to say yes, GitHub code example. I don't have GitHub connected to this instance. I'm going to just see if I can grab a repo and see what happens. What I'm doing is grabbing a URL from GitHub. I'll go back into Create with Rovo. And this is a neat trick. You can just give it links to the broader internet. Use the GitHub repo below and create a whiteboard documenting how the code works. I'll explicitly tell it I want a whiteboard, so I can click this little box here, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I want to say if GitHub is connected to your Atlassian stack, it should have a much better job. This is a public link, so I don't know exactly what it'll grab. But as long as you can get it into Rovo, it should be able to look at it and do something. How accurate it is another question. Again, I don't know what this code is, but we're going to see what's going on. Okay, this is more telling me about the page. So I'd recommend, Minu, go test it out. As long as you don't hit, yes, go publish this, Rovo won't do anything other than show you the preview. And if you're just looking at a connected system, you're not like modifying data. So it never hurts to go into Rovo, and you can even just, we'll do this in a moment, click Ask Rovo and ask it that exact question. It's fairly good at telling you what it can do. But even what I did here, go try it, is a good way to learn. So definitely worth testing in your environment because that'll be more similar to what you need. But here, okay, yeah, it looks like it is able to read this page and tell me what's in it. This might not be exactly what you wanted, but it's just an example of the reference I give Rovo doesn't have to be in Confluence. It could be any link that's accessible. I'm going to let that keep going and just see what happens. Um, Manahar, what specific user problems does Rovo solving platforms fail to address? I love that. For me, it's something like this, like synthesizing new information. So this is one of them. I, as a human, could do this, but it would take a lot of time. I'd have to go in and read that whole page. Instead, Rovo has given me a starting point. Maybe this starting point is just helping me understand what's on that page. But now I know there's some categories of things. I now know that there's notable repositories. Oh, hey, I didn't realize that there's a deepgram DX recipe, whatever that is. Yeah, so it's a way I can explore information that I could do, but it would take me a lot of time. So that's one thing it helps with. Um, Matthew's also jumped in with Remix. I don't think I have a specific slide for that. This is a relatively new feature. We saw this. Atlassian is doing some on-site things called Teamwork Collection conferences, I think. I was up in Seattle, but there's this remix button, and this will allow me to create a visual thing with selected text. So in this case, I want an infographic about what I selected. A sketch, I'll do a sketch, sure. So this is a relatively new feature that gives me more visual content in Confluence. This is something before I could not do. I could go into like MS Paint and draw it by hand and put it in. But here, Rovo will take the content and then make something for me. Again, this is a very quick off the cuff example. I don't know what it's going to spit out, but we're going to find out together. Look at that. Cool. Now I can copy this. And maybe I put this up at the top of my, EMEA kudos page. I'll go edit. And I now have this image to give people a little bit more pop, understand a little bit more what's happening in here. And that remix works with any text I select and just click remix. And I have different options for it. So again, this is still in labs. So this is a beta feature. It could change at any time. It could disappear. It could come back. We don't know. But if you see this, it's worth just exploring to see what it can help you do because it can help give that visual flavor to something that I, as a human, wouldn't be able to do by myself. And Matthew's a big fan. Okay, so I don't have much time, but that's creating content. I'll highly encourage you to go in and try Create with Rovo and just see what it can do for you. Again, anything that is text heavy and repetitive is a good example of use. I'll show it in a moment, but you can also change the reasoning model. So we have our just default, it will pick the best one, but you could also force it to think deeply or do deep research. And this will change how much information it grabs, how many logical leaps it makes through your teamwork graph to go get information. Cara, I see your question. I'll get to in a minute. One thing, though, that I use Rovo for a lot is finding outdated content, summarizing things, like managing a space, because, typically a lot of great Confluence content and they get stale. We forget it's there. We have to manage it. So Rovo has a lot of tools to help us with that. I won't demonstrate it here, but we can tie Rovo into automations. So on the first of the month, a Rovo agent could be triggered to go analyze a space and suggest pages for archival, or even archive them if they meet some criteria. So we're going to pop back in. I'm going to go into, again, my HR space. I'll start a new Rovo chat. Now, one thing to know about Rovo is it generally knows where you are, but it never hurts to grab a link and explicitly tell it. I need help refreshing our HR space. Give me a report on pages that can be archived, updated, or changed. I gave it a very quick prompt. If I was truly doing this, I would build the prompt out more, defining what archival does and what the criteria are, defining what stale is, etc., and then what is changed. So as that's going, Which feature am I most proud of? Ooh, Manohar, that makes it sound like I have anything to do with making Rovo. um, I'm basically just an end user. So, my role is to help people understand how it works. For me, the single best use case is the search, which is not something we've covered, but you can type in a natural language question in the search bar and it will give you a natural language answer. That for me is the best one because the biggest challenge people have with systems is finding stuff. Like my job is to be a financial expert or my job is to be a developer. My job isn't to fight with a search bar in Confluence to get documentation. So the search is one of the most visible ways that is most easily accessible. Um, I need to find information on perks where I can just ask it a question and it will give me an answer in natural language instead of just a list of pages. So that's my personal favorite. But here we have my little report on what's going on. So it's audited. And again, I would expand this prompt. I would ask it more specific questions, give it specific definitions of what it means to be out of date. Um, I'd give it a format I wanted. And this is something I could then make repeatable. I could put this into an automation, or I could run this prompt every 6 months and see what it thinks I should update. What's medium priority, what's low priority, and then give a summary. I can also then, you know, have it draft updates. Yeah, take those top 5 pages and provide drafts to rewrite them. So I can keep working with Rovo to do this in the same way I could work with a teammate and say, oh, thank you so much, Matthew, for finding this. Do you have suggestions on how to fix it? Martina, can search display content from external sources? I'm going to open up my search real quick. Oops, it's already open. I got to get rid of chat. There is this app search at the top. I don't know if Rovo search extends into general web pages. I know there is an explicit option to include or exclude sources. So here I can click on this filtered sources mode and I can optionally include web results. So one thing I can do is turn these off and this will now only look through the internet. And I might type in a question like, what is a VPN? I pick on this question a lot, a virtual private network. But here I'm forcing Rovo. It should only be using external sources right now. So I can do that in chat. I'm not seeing an obvious filter in the search itself. But in the chat window, I can force it not to use any company knowledge, any of my connected systems, and only use external sources. Or I can do vice versa. Don't use external sources, only use internal stuff. All right. 2 minutes. Can I use Rovo to analyze a completed project in Jira to suggest improvements? Sure. This can relate to Confluence. So I'm going to pop into Jira very quickly. I'm going to just change this example a little bit. I'm going to say analyze this board just because I have it up. Create a report of this board so the team can improve in the next iteration. Again, that's a very quick prompt, probably a very bad prompt. I'd want to give it more. What am I looking for? Is it risks? Is it dependencies? Is it decisions? Are there specific work items I'm concerned with? Specific things I want to know about the next iteration? But for this example, I just asked it a very quick question. And you'll notice at the bottom, it says context. This is what Rovo knows I'm looking at. So the context is also part of the prompt. When I say this board, Rovo goes, oh, it's the mobile dev board. I could also paste in a link just to say this one specifically. This could also work with a list of work items. So Kara, if you've got 10 work items you want to add in, or a filter or a JQL query, you could do that instead. Use this list of tickets, JQL query below, and create a report for the next iteration. I use this one quite a bit as examples. This is also something you can trigger through an automation. When a sprint closes, run a Rovo agent or Rovo search against this to give you this report. You're welcome. All right, folks. And that is my 30 minutes. These always go fast. When I started doing online sessions, we started at 45 minutes and we thought that wasn't enough time. So usually I do a minimum an hour. But I hope you found this useful. I am always available to the community. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'll put my LinkedIn link. You can find me on the forums. and many other places. But please let me know what else you want to learn. I probably actually I don't have all the answers, period, full stop, but hopefully I can help you find out. And a parting idea here is our sprint report, our iteration improvement report. So it gave us quite a bit of data. Whether or not it's useful is up to us. But yes, we can have it help us out and analyze things. So I want to thank y'all for inviting me. I always appreciate being able to speak with folks, and I'm always available in the future. Reach out to me individually as a group if I can help you. But thank you again for giving me half an hour of your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect it really went very well, and the half an hour it's gone in a blink. So,
Yes. There's so much to do.
most most of the stuff on the practical session only, not the theoretical one. Mm,
Mhm.
do you guys have any questions for the raw? Uh,
I got a
yeah,
heart. Oh,
yeah. Mm, if you guys don't have any questions, then we can have a small quiz. Rob, if you're okay.
oh, please. Let's put people in the hot seat.
Yeah, that was a very basic one. Not I'm getting. The two simple questions only. Just give me a second. Let me share my screen. I think hope you guys can able to view my screen. Wait. Can you guys able to view my screen? Sorry, I can't able to see the chat.
Yes, we can. We see Menti. So if folks want to join the quiz, head over to menti.com 468333971. Oh no, I think you froze. I unfortunately have to drop in a minute. I'll stick around to see if you'll come back. Oh no. And I don't have access to that Menti, so I can't show us the quiz. Ah. Um, oh, you're
Sorry,
back. There you are.
sorry, some internet fluctuations. Suddenly it went off.
We could see your Menti, and then you froze.
Oh, sorry. That was my internet issue. Suddenly it went off. Mm,
All right. Good luck with the quiz, folks. I have to jump off and get my kids to school, but thank you again for letting me join y'all.
yeah, sorry for that. So I will take off now on. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Uh, One second, a few minutes, guys. I think something happened to my RDP. One second, let me check. Mm, so no, it's okay. Let me check whether it is working or not. Well, okay. I think some people already joined. Let me share again. This will happen whenever I didn't bring my personal laptop. Okay. So still anybody needs to join. So we can give it 2 more minutes. Then we can start the quiz. Hmm. Okay, the recording will be shared within 1 or 2 days because it's okay. So can we start? Can somebody ping in the chat? I think. Okay, let's wait for 1 more minute. So 8:36. Until we can until 8:37. Yeah, I think we are ready. So I'm starting now. So what is one of the primary benefit of Atlassian Rovo in Confluence? I think mostly everybody know this one, so there is nothing to tell. Yeah, I think one is just like me managing Jira workflows. It's not Jira, bro. Okay, the next one. Okay, next. So which feature help you to quickly understand a long Confluence page? I think he already mentioned about this thing. Oh, yeah, everyone is right. A summary. Mm, let's go to the next one. There's still some people. Start. Okay, before Row perform action like creating or editing a page, what happens? Mm, it requires all admin approval every time, I guess. Oh, 16 people are right. So I think everyone is so fast here. So, oh, 20 people are ready now. So let's get another one. Okay, which of the following practical use case for row in Confluence? Mm, restarting Jira service. Oh, somebody listen to me, I guess. Restarting Jira service. Okay, next thing. Mm, okay, next one. There are only 8 questions. Last 3 questions are here. So, what makes a prompt? Mm, one word instructions, I guess. Everyone is clear. Last three. Hmm. Okay, let me go for the next. The answer you expected. What should you do first? Disable Rovo or delete the page? That was the best option. Oh, everyone is voted within a second. Oh, 20 people are right. Hmm. The last two questions, I guess. 17, 19 people are ready. One person gone, I guess. Okay, starting the next one. Look at your device. Can Rovo access content that you don't have permission to view? Okay, requesting argument approval. The last one. 20 people has joined. The last question which will decide now. Why should teams use AI in Confluence? For what tools? To remove manual work. Oh, one second. Oh, to improve productivity and knowledge. I think that's all for now. We can check the leaderboard and see who the. I mean, I will be giving two. I mean, like two coupons here. So once it is completed, please guys share your email ID in the chat box or else ping me in the LinkedIn so I can able to provide you the. Okay, Manohar, man, are the fastest here. Congratulations, Manohar and Ram. So please guys ping me in the LinkedIn so I provide you gift vouchers. So let me share my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. So or else you can drop in the chat box. And I was sharing the. What's happening? One second. Guys, I think that's all. So thanks everyone for joining. So great day, guys. Any doubts or about the record posting it in a few days, 1 or 2 days most probably. So thank you. Thanks for joining, Manohar. So I uh, thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.